where I met people in West Africa, at Teshi in Ghana, who are in touch, not even in touch. We were trained together. We trained together with Ghanaian, Sierra Leonean, and Gambian students, or cadets as they were called, and then going abroad with all Commonwealth cadets, Commonwealth cadets from all over the world. I think that in itself a way of preparing or training and exposing with Ghanaian or leadership. So then the deployment, I was deployed in Germany, the British Army of the Rhine, as they call them, and then going abroad home. Not too long after I came back home, cadet from all over. We were deployed in the Congo in 1960. Giving on exposure, if I can put it that way. So, but my aunt, the senior sister of my mother, who named me Okikiola, used to say that when I was born, she had a feeling that I would be a man of note. So that's why he named me Okikiola. Beyond that, I think my mother thought, I believe she miscounted when she missed her period and all that, but she believed that I overstayed in her womb. I never argued with her, but I don't believe I overstayed. So that's why they named me Olusegun. Because my father was already worried, and he had to go into becoming an Ifa and going to Ifa, becoming it's not ordination, but I would say being brought into Ifa Oracle. So that's why I have an Ifa name, which I don't tell people. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I know Titilayo is angling to ask a question, but you mentioned something. You mentioned your military training prepared you for leadership. That is striking a chord in me. You became head of state following the death of Murtala Mohammed, your very good friend. I don't know. Can you flash back to your days in the military? Whether, there are people who have said, well, they joined the military to go and do, they know that they specialize in the act of coup making. I'm not sure I'm not sure His Excellency would want to, lay claim to that. But I know people in the military and people who have been written about that there is in every coup that have taken place in Nigeria, they are there. I don't know. You are a major when your surrender, when you were a colonel, then you rose through the rank. Was there any time that you thought, it's going to be my turn one day? Bye-bye.
No, coup was unthought of, or was very foreign to the military when I was in the army, and that was why when the first coup took place, I was taken aback. Although the leader of the coup in Kaduna, Chukwuemeka, was my very good friend, it was within 48 hours of my returning to Nigeria that he launched his coup. But as he himself told me later, my coming back 48 hours before the coup was the greatest problem he ever had. Should he tell me about the coup? If he did, and I said, oh, good idea, there's no place for me in the plan. But there was no place for me in plan. Then, if I said, oh, what nonsense are you up to? Now, it was too late to stop the coup. So he decided not to tell me. In fact, he deceived me about doing an exercise, and of course, we all know what exercise normally stand for in the military. And that was also when the investigation was carried out. And they found that I did not know anything about it. I was exculpated. Then the coup that you will say they informed me of the coup that removed President and removed General Gowon. And they informed me at midnight. When one of the and I said, look, well, we've planned it. I said, it cannot be stopped. They said, well, if it cannot be stopped, can you make it bloodless? And he said, that's what we planned it will be. But that was an hour before they launched the coup. They launched the coup at 1 a.m. They took 12 minutes.
Okay, I think that's landed. There are lots of signal there. Your Excellency, thank you very much. Have you landed, sir?
I've landed. You are asking me about coups. So that's all I about.
Thank you.
I was receiving look, since the coup that remains to remove the General Gowon. I'm talking about wow, invited, and those who made the military and the nation out of your hand. So we have to take responsibility.
All right, thank you, Your Excellency. And while I was reading your bio, I read out that you are a March 5 born. and it's with great excitement to share the same birthday with you.
No, we are having too many. We are having too many interferences here.
Okay.
Now, can we add?
Okay. We will address that.
Having a baby. How does that come into this type of program?
Okay. We will address it. Your Excellency, we will fix it. But can you hear us now, Baba?
Please go to microphone.
I think the signal is a bit stable. Can we fire on, sir? I think it's stable. Our engineers are working on it. Thank you, sir. Okay.
We all have finished on coup.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Apologies for the break in transmission. Your Excellency, while reading your bio, I read out that you're a March 5 born, and it's with great excitement to share a birthday, the same birthday with you. Let me place the mirror before you now. Where is Nigeria? What happened to Nigeria? And where is Nigeria heading to?
Well, Nigeria is where God has created it to be. I believe that God created Nigeria to be a land flowing with milk and honey, and that we are not a land flowing with milk and honey. It's not the fault of God, it's the fault of Nigerians. That's where Nigeria is.
Okay. Thank you very much. Baba took Sunday school this morning. I learned Baba is also a spiritual leader. His Excellency did a PhD in theology at the National Open University, of course. That's a public fact. And I'm sure Baba is doing a lot to, to also increase his depth in the knowledge of God's word and to teach people. You are a transformational leader. And I know one key difference between a transformational leader and a transactional leader is that he is keen about the next generation. A fact which has made you crisscross Nigeria. Last week you were in Plateau. It was all announced. Another time you were in other parts of Africa. And leadership is at your heart. Building people. Today's political people will think more about general elections. How can we, because there's need for a change of mindset by Nigerians. Somebody said, change begins with me. Do you think we need ethical renaissance? And, how do we reorientate the people? So, because when you were leaving government in 1979, you launched Operation Feed the Nation. And you left. But I'm not sure we are in it now. There have been so much mantras about agricultural revolution. I mean, where are we? Still talking about leadership, a leadership that a people would take up the challenge to build themselves, to let us get back to where Nigeria destined us to be. That's the question, sir.
You are harping on the same thing that we have talked better. You rehash your question. In all human institutions, and human organizations. Leadership matters. Now, if we understand that, we also must understand, I always say, if you are a man of one form or the other, there is no religion that I know of in the world that does not prescribe form, attributes, characteristics that leadership must have. Even in our own culture and tradition, you look at the background, you look at the track record, you look at the family. They go to that extent, not only in leadership, but even in marriage. Democracy was started in Greek system. Not everything can hurry. Now, I used to say, and I know this, that 50 years ago, if you went to my village, if a government official went to my village and said, look, we have a program to revive bringing money, and then you would do service and all that. Now, who should we give the money to? Who should be the treasurer? Now, if that government official pick somebody in the village that they know is light-fingered, the village leaders, elders will say, oh, no, not Israel. You want to give the Israel make him the treasurer? No, his farm is always far. His Okwe ground, that's the farm that is not near. When we need the money, he may be in the farm. No, give it to Joseph, whose farm is close. No, that is how they handle that. They don't just make anybody, because they know the background. They know the track record. They know the character. And if you take a man of bad character to be your leader, then you will get bad leadership. Yes, and look at
Sorry, Your Excellency.
we talk about as leaders. Most of the successful ones are men and women of character. Look at somebody like Samson. Now, God ordained him to be a leader. But look at his character. His character is that he is a woman rapper. And he did not succeed as he should have succeeded. And he was, to a large extent, a failure, because he did not have the character that should be make him a leader that God really wanted him to be. So when we talk again about, yes, leadership, is it are leaders born or made? I always believe that leaders are partly born and partly made. Now, if you are born and you are not made, and making requires an effort on your part, then you have yourself to blame. So I believe that today, the sort of thing, the analogy of my village that I gave, today, I said that's 50, 60 years ago, but today, Israel will, at its life in God, will be the treasurer because he will buy everybody up. He will have the money to buy everybody. And we must not forget the place of money in human affairs. I was reading a story the other day of Churchill. Churchill, as prime minister, he took a taxi to BBC to make a recording. And when Churchill was getting out of the taxi, asked the taxi man, will you wait for me so that after my broadcast, I will, you take me back? And the taxi man said, no, I have to go home to listen to Churchill. They didn't know it was Churchill, but he was talking to him. But instead of giving the taxi man 5 shillings, he gave the taxi man 20 shillings. The taxi man said to him, I will wait for you. To hell with Churchill. And he broadcast. Now, money has changed the man. That's what money can do to a lot of people, particularly in the situation where we are, where we have created, where poverty has been created by the leaders themselves. And when you have a situation like that, then you know what money can do. Even though those who are taking the money may know that they are mortgaging their future and the future of their children. But we will then talk about what do we have to do. I have always talked of moral rearmament. We have to go back to the beginning. We have to go back. Look, take my own community. Money is not anything you worry about. You worry more about a person's character than about money. And you may even have money and not be respected, because if the source of your money is doubtful, to hell with your money you will get in the community. That is what we used to know. That was what I learned when I was growing up. Can we go back to that? I believe we can. I believe we can. Now, my first son shocked me once. Before I was arrested and taken to prison, I decided that I would be visiting my children that are in schools abroad one by one and interact with them and bond with them. And I went to my first son who was in Michigan. I said, look, I rent a room in the hotel. We will be there for the weekend. And it's one room because you and I will stay in the bed together. So, and when he met me at the airport, we were talking, and he said, Daddy, I don't share your optimism about Nigeria. I was a bit worried. I said, hey, Segun, how come you hold this point? He said when he was in the university in Nigeria, he went to APU. He said those who are in level 100 with him said if they are in government and they had opportunity, they will steal money. And that shocked him. And that's what made him have no hope about Nigeria, which is a serious issue. So I then asked him, I said, look, Segun, you and I and God are in the car now. If you have opportunity, will you steal money? He said, no. I said, well, that is the beginning. We need a critical mass of those who will say no. And then we will be there. And then when I became president, we established EFCC, we established ICPC, and he came home. And he said, well, it appears we may be getting there. And his hope started rising. That within a couple of years after I left government, he himself decided to give back. He went back. And he hasn't been to Nigeria since then. Now, so it is possible for us to make a change. It is how do we achieve that possibility of making a change. And when I talk of moral realignment, we have to go back to family, churches, mosques, schools, communities. When I was in prison, I decided to study because we mingle in the prison with all sorts of boys. Their average age would be 23, 24. And then I wanted to know why criminality. So the title of my interview I'm trying to research was youth delinquency and criminality. Who is to blame? And I interviewed quite a number of the young men in prison. And I found that everybody is to blame. The family, well, of course, the delinquent youth themselves, the family, the community, the village, the city area where they come from, the church, the school, the mosque, the state government, the local government, the national government, even the world, because what they get from television, internet, and social media does not help. So when you talk of leadership, I believe it's like the thing we say in Yoruba land. A cripple will tell him or her, your load is bending. He said, look at me from the leg up. Load is bending in leadership because the foundation is wrong. So we have to go and get the foundation right. And it doesn't matter what religion you claim to be, to be your religion in this country. All religions have standard of good character for leadership, principles for leadership. When you say yes, because it's from your tribe, and if it's a man that is characterless, then I wonder whether God will even approve of that. I wonder whether He will teach that in the church or in the mosque. I know that the Babalawos even have, Oromila has something he does, the Jᴏɪᴜ or a particular aspect that character in leadership. So that is the position.
Okay, thank you very much. It's good that Your Excellency has mentioned money. If I trace it very well, you mentioned money 8 times. Let's go into the issue of corruption. Corruption is one of the, somebody say, higher killers of any nation. I would not name you as one of the corrupt persons. Or let me say that people knew that when you were in power, there has been no Nigerian president, whether as civilian or the military, who has taken the issue of corruption very, very seriously. You established EFCC, as you have said, in your own era, your own Inspector General of Police from your own tribe, they put handcuff on him. There were ministers who served under your tenure, they went to prison. To me, that is leadership. But we have observed over the years that despite the agencies handling corruption, there are many of them, EFCC, ICPC, so many, corruption continues unending in Nigeria. Somebody even said, if Nigeria doesn't stop corruption, corruption may kill Nigeria. Now, what are the other ways? Maybe the way you did it then, and you did it successfully, maybe, I don't know. What do you think is wrong? You did it successfully during your time. But these days, even corrupt people, they are in hallowed places of government, they are in the judiciary, and nothing has happened. What do you think, Your Excellency?
What more do you want to think? You yourself have said it.
I'm just a moderator.
The best way of fighting corruption is starting from the head. That is where corruption has not to be fought from. I took some 40 young Africans to Singapore when Lee Kuan Yew had handed over, but he was still, I think he called himself senior minister, although without a portfolio. But he was there to make sure things were still going right. And he spent 2 days with us. And the African young leaders that I took there, because I had a leadership role. And what I used to do is bring leaders from all over the world to address and spend time with these young Africans that I bring together under the auspices of African Leadership Forum. And when I asked Lee Kuan Yew to come, Lee Kuan Yew said, look, my friend, once I go against time, I'm useless for 48 hours. Why don't you bring these African young leaders to Singapore? And I said, I have no money to bring them. He said, we will pay. So he paid for about 40 people. I took them. They took young leaders from Kenya, young leaders from Zambia, Nigeria, and we went. 2 days, he was telling us one thing that we feel was that they had merit. You are appointed on merit, no matter. So merit to protect merit. Second, you will have, as Lee Kuan Yew had, people, irrespective of what you do, they want to smear you and all that. And Lee Kuan Yew told us, whenever there's that, he opened up. Just as they had a leader who came up without even understanding what was going on in electricity, said $16 billion was used, and there's no need for it. He was an ignorant leader. And when it was investigated by EFCC, by the National Assembly, they found that it was absolute fake. It was due to the lack of understanding. And that is very important. A leader must be able to understand, not in intricacies of science and technology, but you must be able to comprehend and understand the things that go on. So when Lee Kuan Yew was going to finish with us, the African young leaders were anxious to get the magic. They asked him, what is the magic for your success? And he said, there's no magic. We did a few things right, and we continue to do them right. Then I said to my young African leaders, I said, that's your takeaway. Go back home. What is your country? What should your country do right that they're not doing right? How can you make them do it right? And how can you make them continue to do them right? And let me give you our own country, Nigeria. I believe you did UP right. Education is fundamental. But as soon as I left government, my successor didn't believe that UP should continue. I came back and we did UPE right. We have gone from universal primary education to universal basic education, 9 years instead of 6 years. Some states went to court, and the Supreme Court ruled that federal government has no business in primary education. How can you close the gap when in a place like Anambra, you have 94, 95%, and in a place like Sokoto, you have 20, 25%. How do you close that gap? Unless there's intervention. But that is what we had. And I brought what I call UBUBED, So that was the way we could influence. You won't believe that some states will not go and take money from you back, because if you take money from you back, federal government has right to scrutinize and inspect how that money was being spent. So corruption, you have to be fought from the top. And don't forget that, look, the officials, people so-called the civil servants, they know what you are doing. They know what you are doing. And you cannot cover it from them. And then when you do it, those of them who want to go bad, they can join it. But once there should be consequence, there should be consequence for any misbehavior. You talk of owner GP, you talk of one permanent secretary who he claimed that he was my relation. Now, nobody should be able to play it away. And when I always say to people when I was in government, that if you want to go into politics and be an honest politician, a politician of integrity, you must have a second address. But those who make politics their profession, their trade, the only thing they do, they will fall for anything, including being deeply involved in corruption. But if you have a second address, you will definitely try to be honest and be a man of integrity. And you talk about transformation and transaction. A transformation leader could not want to grab. What are you grabbing? What for? And then you will also be able to see, look, what this that you are doing, what purpose will it serve? Now, look at what has happened in Egypt. That is transformation leadership. Look at what is happening in Rwanda. That is transformational leadership. But many other places in Africa, we don't have what I have just mentioned in Egypt and in Rwanda. So leadership and corruption, what can you do? If leadership is not fighting corruption, which is hydra-headed. Corruption is very hydra-headed and it's deep. If I think it was the Sultan of Sokoto, the father of the present Sultan, he said corruption is like rayon labarika. As you are folding it on one side, it's falling apart on the other side. And when you carry it on both sides, you cannot hold your hands up indefinitely. And as soon as you put your hand down, it's falling apart. And that is corruption. It's not a one-day affair. It's not a one-regime affair. It's not even a two-regime affair. It has to be consistent. It has to be continual. It has to be a daily affair. Once one regime let off, it spreads. See, those who are in that business of corruption, they can outweigh one regime. They can bow down for a regime, but then they can also spring up almost as if nothing has happened. So that's what you have.
Thank you, Your Excellency. In fact, I appreciate your depth and the candor. I want to ask, sir, even as a pastor, you must have known that in Nigeria now, urban power syndrome is reigning. I overheard you sometimes, you were saying that you want to live for humanity, that any Christianity that is not attending to the problem of people. Now, look at the way Nigeria is. Let's look at that, the hardship, the suffering that is happening now. Many people believe that it came out of the subsidy withdrawal or removal. How did we get to where we are? Some people are complaining.
It's a good government now. How they get you to where you are? Don't ask me that.
Okay. Okay, sir. Excellency, let's look at the forms of politics that we are practicing, the kind of democracy. Let me move away from where I was going. People have said, well, we did the parliamentary democracy. It didn't work. We went to the American style, presidential. It's not appearing to be working. We have tried the military. The military is also, so is it possible, if you look at it from your lenses, what kind of political system can we just attempt? Maybe we'll come out of the woods.
No, you are beating about the bush.
I see.
You are beating about the bush. There are one democracy, two constitutions, three governance, four leadership. Democracy, as we got it from the West, because that's all they have, what I call West liberal democracy, has not worked for us because the content in the context of that democracy is foreign to us. And even the people that gave it to us, they are complaining. Not too long ago, Britain had a prime minister that was even voted for. And they have seen that in Britain, where the totality of the votes cast for a particular party is less than the party. And the one that has a totality of the vote that is less has more members of parliament. That's their own system. That's their system. That's democracy. But will you accept that as perfect democracy? The Americans have, you may even have the majority. They have the thing they call what do they call it? That will Colgate is not Colgate, we call it college. I think electoral college. Yes. The Americans call it electoral college. So you may have a majority, like it happened not too long ago. But if the electoral college is not in your favor, your majority amounts to nothing. So the point is this. I believe that in our own system, where are traditional, we have consensus. We sit down, we talk, and then after we have agreed, everybody. The word position in almost all African languages is enemy. You talk of loyal enemy, but in the Western liberal democracy, which it came from monarchy, so you can be loyal to the monarch, but not loyal, not loyal to the opposition or to the government which you oppose. I believe we need to do a lot of research for ourselves. Democracy, as defined by the American President Lincoln, government of the people, by the people, for the people, all the people. But what do we have today? Government of the few, by the few. Not for the people, against the people. Government of the few, by the few, invariably against the people. Now, that cannot continue. We have to look at, somebody said, what do I call it? I said, look, let us look at it. He said, well, should we call it a full democracy? I said, fair, if you want to call it that way. But the idea of communalism, the idea of consensus must be part and parcel of the democracy that we will practice. Then you have constitution. What constitution do we have? What does our constitution do? And what does it bring up? That is another thing. The constitution. Some people now are saying, look, we should look at our constitution again. If in the past we did not want state police, should we consider it? Maybe. I was in Colombia. They scrapped state police, provincial police. But when they had a serious security problem, they look at it again and they have brought them back. Maybe. Then you come, there may be other areas of our constitution that you will need to look at. Then you come to governance. Governance, some people said, oh yes, we have it's a presidential system that is making the cost of government. Is it presidential system that makes us to have a president will have a retinue of people, vice president ditto, speaker ditto, President of the Senate, Tito. We have 4. It's not the presidential system. It is the people who run the presidential system. People who are heartless. If you have parliamentary system, you will have prime minister, you will have deputy prime minister, you will have speaker. If they go the same way, you will not come out of it. So for me, it's not so much the system, it's so much the people. And that's where I come to the 4th, leaders and leadership. The issue, leadership. And if we get leadership right, we will get other things right. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Well, Your Excellency, I'm just racking my brain to see how I can manage the next 10 minutes before they throw out of here. Well, the conversation has been very robust. I don't know whether His Excellency does not mind that we throw the interactions, the floor open, so that we can have maybe 3 to 4 questions.
Get them on.
Okay.
But we're going to talk on politics.
Okay, that's all right. And we have just signify by raising of hands, just please make it, if possible, 45 seconds, and His Excellency can have a go. Okay, thank you. And we have hands raised up.
There are 4 hands I can see here.
Okay.
Open.
Engineers, please put them on.
So there are 6 hands now.
Okay, let's have them one after the other.
And let's have them quickly.
Thank you, sir. Your Excellency.
6 hands up.
Good evening, Sam.
Who are you? Just mention your name so that I know.
WH is my name from Owu Kingdom. Baba, Sam.
Okay.
Yes, I really appreciate you, sir. I want to ask this question, sir. Looking at the what is going on in the country now, most especially among we youth, sir, what advice can you give us, sir?
It is very difficult, but I will tell you. I have to answer this question. That look, if I am in your position today, will I japa? Will I continue? And I say to you, when I was like them, we have limited facilities, that we had almost unlimited opportunities. Today, you have almost unlimited facilities, but the opportunities you have very, very, very small. So what can we do? I will say there's no time that you will not get the bad time closing and good time coming. Only tough people survive tough times. Now, and I mean that. So what can you do? Some people even asked me the other day and said, look, what will I ask them to study? I said, if I were you, young, early 20s or teenage or whatever, I will go and study AI, artificial intelligence. Because 10, 15 years from now, most of the vehicles on our road will be driverless. That's AI. Now, most of the things that we are doing now, whether we like it or not, we will have to give them to automation to AI in one word. So, but then where can we get that? I believe the private sector, more of the private sector, more of our institutions should go for this. And then I will say those of our youth that are out of the country already, prepare yourself for the possibility of coming back. When I was in government as president, a number came back, and some of those who came back remain. But as things started going sour, they went back. And I have given you the example of my own first son. He went back. So what I will say is that a good time will come, and be prepared when good time comes to take advantage of it.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. We cannot but talk about your legacies. I'm going to come to that question. You built power infrastructure during your regime, and I want to combine it with our very concerning, very disturbing, huge debt profile. Your tenure, your government cleared all the debts that we have. Does this not portend great danger, Your Excellency?
That we clear the debt.
You clear the debts. Yes.
And what danger does clearing the debt?
No. But after we have cleared the debts, most now that we now have very huge and long-term debt profile. What would you say about this?
No. It's not even your problem. It will be the problem of partly yours, problem of your children, and problem of their children.
Okay.
Are you taking questions now?
Yes, next question, please.
Thank you. Yeah, my name is Jᴏɪᴛᴛᴇʀ. I'm calling from UK.
Please make it very fast.
Yeah, I would like to appreciate the Excellency. And I would like to appreciate you for the encouragement you've given those of us that are overseas to prepare to come back. That is the fatherly advice. I appreciate that greatly. I would like to add, I'm not trying to overpraise you, but I think your reign as a military and as a president actually had a lot of pluses for Nigeria and for Nigeria as a whole. What I would like to say here is that why don't the subsequent president build upon what a past president have done? Because you see them starting all over again, and this is like it's dragging us back to a point where you've covered, or they rather relegate what you've done that is working and make it ineffective. How can we go around a continuity in Nigeria to build that nation?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, well, Faith, you are absolutely right there. I have said, even when I was living, we had prepared needs and seeds. This is a program of development and all that. And my successor was part of it in the same party. And we handed it over. All the people who were part of it, the governor of Central Bank and all that. But I was told that as soon as I left, some people went to him and said, if you will continue on Obasanjo's program, nobody will hear anything about you. Dump Obasanjo's program and then start your own. And without any thought, he just woke up one day, he talked of 7-point program. And it's number 2. I asked, what is 7-point program? He said he doesn't know. Now that is the sort of thing that you have. You cannot force any president on what to do. unless, of course, you can now, as part of our constitutional amendment, that we should have program that will be consensus program. And then you come to what I talk about democracy. And that consensus program cannot be changed, except you go through consensus again. Now, maybe people can look into that. It is a possibility. But there's nothing we have in our constitution now that binds a president from doing anything. He can wake up tomorrow and say, look, he wants to build a balloon that will hold his government house off the ground, and it will be a balloon that will hold it. If that's what he wants to do, that's not what you can do about it. So, as I said, wherever we can amend the Constitution, that will help. Maybe we should do.
Okay. Thank you, Your Excellency. Next question. Very quickly. Okay.
Okay, good evening, Your Excellency, sir. My name is Jᴏɪᴛᴛᴇʀ FUNHEALTHRADIO. I would like to ask.
Please, can you be louder?
James, go ahead.
Okay. Your Excellency, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm just a young Nigerian, and it's been so insightful.
I'm not hearing you well. I'm not hearing you well.
Can you increase the volume, please?
Learn more from wealth.
Can you be more audible?
I'm not hearing. Anybody who hears him well can tell me what he is saying. But I'm not hearing.
We're not hearing. Are you hearing?
Like a bit more audible.
Your Excellency, sir, can you hear me, sir?
Be more audible.
Okay.
James, that you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
I'm hearing you now.
Okay. Good evening, Your Excellency, sir.
Good evening.
Thank you very much for this opportunity. As a young Nigerian, I'm super excited to have you on this call. Please, sir, so for someone like me who would want to learn more from your wealth of experience and knowledge, how can we be part of your leadership school or institution?
James, let me say 3 ways to do that. One, you can read my book. There's a lot to learn in the books. That's number 1. Number 2, you can interact with those who have worked with me. Many of them have a lot to say, maybe good, maybe bad. And I will say this about learning. Even if you learn the way not to do a thing, it's still learning, and it's important. Number 3, well, I've talked about Africa Leadership Forum. That I established in 1986 is still existing. One Dr. Ajayi is running it now. And we have just founded what I call WG=Obasanjo Leadership Institute. That will be degree awarding, certificate awarding institution. And you may ask more about that. And then of course, opportunities like this, you can take me on. I'm not afraid of saying what I should say, except that when I say I'm not talking about political this time, I've just had a meeting in Yale where I was not able to be present, but I give them my recorded message. I think that's good enough for now. I don't want to
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. I think we have had it good for 2 hours. Baba, I do not take it for granted. I am grateful. I thank you for this wonderful opportunity. But I'm sure KBSC, who is the chair of this session, will thank you more than I can ever. I want to apologize to people who have not been able to, we cannot do it with a figure like Baba on the podium, except we are going to do 3-4 hours. But let me quickly signal to KBSC. We open the session, and I think it is right to close this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for this exciting session. We truly appreciate your time, your insight, explaining a lot of things to us. I particularly have learned a few more things about you, which I didn't know before, which I think is also very useful for me personally. Let me apologize to those of our participants who have tried to ask questions. I can see still a number of hands up that we could not take. I mean, you can appreciate the fact that it's we do not have sufficient time to answer all the questions. And there are a lot of questions on the chat box as well, which probably we have not been able to, but I think some of them have been addressed as part of His Excellency's earlier responses and remarks as well. All in all, I thank everybody who have been part of this event this evening. Thank you very much for making it such a robust session, something that we all learned from. Now, also want to again thank all supporters, the broadcast stations who have supported us throughout this session. I look forward to another exciting session next month, God willing. And again, thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the evening.
Thank you so much. Okay. We are losing signal there. I can't even hear His Excellency. Yes, Baba, we can hear you now.
Yeah, I said, look, those who have questions that are really burning in their mind, if they find a way of sending the question to me,
okay,
give them answer and writing.
Okay, thank you very much for that indulgence. On that note, let me ask, let me give out my WhatsApp number, and you can send it to me. You can just take it down. 080 332 11032. I'll take it again. 080 332 11032. Thank you very much. Let me thank my training here. Tᴏɪᴛᴛᴇʀ is good. Let's hear your voice at least.
Thank you so much, Dr. AROWOJOLU. Thank you, Your Excellency. I would just like to ask a question, just one last question, sir. How do you envision Nigerians' future, and what role do you think individuals? Oh. All right, sir.
Yeah. So about Nigeria future. It will be great.
All right, sir.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Can I ask this before Baba will leave? This is the first time that I know that His Excellency will sit down like this in a party with the media, and I hope we can have a part of that. Baba, Your Excellency.
Yeah, well, try your luck. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Baba.
Thank you so much, sir.
Amarida. Yes, sir. I thank KBSC. I thank everyone. Let me use this. let me use this medium to thank the people who made the media convergence to work very well. Then Television London, I want to thank you. I appreciate you. WG#7 Radio 103.7 FM, Dr. Shagun Udebami, my salute for you. Thank you. I'm also thanking the owners of Wash FM. You know yourself, all of you. Thank you very much for this cozy, wonderful studio. I'm also expressing thanks to Senator Olubenga Obadara of Suite 107.1 FM. You've been there. The Boiling Point Arena is there for a long haul, and it will be there every second Sunday. Just have it diarized. Next month will be our 27th edition. Only God knows who we will bring next, but we will not lower the bar. Thank you. That's the size of our package. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Thank you to all people who said they are proudly associated with us. No more free time. No, there's no free meal in Moravia again. No, in Freetown. It is time to also see possibilities of some messages. We can also bring it on. Contact Boiling Point Enquiries through that phone number. But that's the size of our package. Thank you very much. God bless you. That has been Boiling Point Arena.
All right, time check now is 10 o'clock. You're welcome back. And in the next 5 minutes, one lesson will come your way again. Don't forget, thank you so much. Thank you so much for joining us on Boiling Point Arena. Remember, stay informed, and I will come your way again next time.
normally improper, no, don't bother. No, it's not that I want job. I'm just feeling for a case. Still respect, please. It's my senses. So go down to look. No, don't be waiting person stop from Madam for a side. If I get somebody of that, I said, now, can't get that chapter. No, can be place. No, other just don't like to dump. No need to go. You know, see the chemistry. It's my first modern very good. It's